Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another fragrance first impressions, and it's going to be on one you might be kind of confused why I haven't tried this on my skin yet, and it's from Prada and it's Infusion d'Iris. And this is supposed to be one of the best iris scents ever. A lot of people sing its praises. I have smelled it on strips and I've loved it on strips, but I've never tried it on my skin. So this is the fragrance we are going to be doing a first impression of today. So if you'd like to know what I think, then keep watching. As always guys, I'm going to remind you about how our fragrance first impressions work here. Now what I do is I have a fragrance I have never tried, but in most cases it has at least never touched my skin. I have smelled this one before. I spritz it on my skin, let it settle 10 to 20 seconds, and I give you my first impression of the opening. And then I'll come back in 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes maybe an hour, and give you guys my first impression of the dry down. Now I do know to really appreciate a fragrance, all its little nuances, how it develops on the skin, its longevity and projection and things like that, you need to wear it a little bit longer than just one day. So I'm not going to give you a final first impressions at the end of this video. Rather what I'm going to do is my next fragrance first impressions video, I will give you a little mini rundown about what my final thoughts were, what my thoughts were on this fragrance wearing through the sample. Which means at the end of this video, you're going to get my final thoughts on the last fragrance I did in first impression of, which was Missoni, the Eau de Toilette. So if you're interested in any of these, then keep watching. I said that. It's usually what I say in my intro. Okay, so d'Iris, or Infusion d'Iris from Prada. If I mispronounce that, please excuse me. I was really excited to see and try this fragrance. I actually have little to no experience with any of these fragrances from Prada. I just never really got my nose on it. There's a lot of fragrances out there that people think that I should have tried, and I know I should have tried, and I just haven't gotten around to it, and this is one of them. So I'm really excited to wear this today. If you're wondering, it is cold in Florida. It was like 42 degrees earlier this morning, thus my scarf, because this room, if it's hot out there, it's hot in here. It's cold out there, it's cold in here, and I am a baby when it comes to cold weather, although I do love it. So let's go. I'm not wearing anything right now on my skin. I'm really excited to try this. And yeah, I love iris, you guys. I like iris. I'm one of those people where I like iris in its variety of different ways, where it can be a little bit more makeup-y, or where it can be really floral and soft and powdery. There's a variety of different ways iris can really develop on your skin, specifically with other notes. So I'm really excited. I just turned it off. I turned over here for a second and I'm back. So I was just kind of reading over the notes. Now, like I said, I've seen other people's reviews of this. I have smelled this on a strip, but iris is one of those notes that really develops differently on my skin. So I'm really excited. From the bat, I haven't even brought this close. It's already filling the room with just the spray, and you might be like, you just sprayed it. But there are some fragrances that I just spray and it doesn't fill. So this is already is very aromatic, is emanating off the skin. Getting a sweet powdery vibe from it, which is really nice, but I want to see how it smells close to my skin. So what I'm getting on my skin is really nice. First, this is really nice. This is going to be weird. I always like to give you guys a very accessible, easy to understand definition of what things smell like, and then expand on that. This kind of smells like a carrot. Have you ever like smelled a carrot that's kind of bitter, like as you're washing carrots or cutting carrots? It's kind of that sweet green, little bit sour note. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting like a beta carotene kind of like feel from it. So far this is really nice. I'm gonna let sometimes iris scents develop on my skin really quickly. Sometimes iris scents take a little bit more time to develop on my skin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back whenever I think this is developed on my skin long enough. It could be 10 minutes, could be an hour. It won't be longer than an hour because of this fragrance is one of the fragrances that starts to wear away after 2 to 3 hours. A lot of it's going to go away. So I have a feeling this will be quick, but we'll see. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now, a few notes real quick. This is marketed as a feminine fragrance, which means it has characteristics and the composition of fragrances, of notes that are generally found in feminine or women's marketed fragrances. But from what I'm gathering how this smells like a distinctively unisex fragrance. This isn't leaning more masculine or more feminine on my skin. It smells decidedly unisex. Maybe the little bit of powderiness, because a powdery feeling in fragrances or smell in fragrances you do tend to find more in women's fragrances than unisex and masculine ones. But it's not pulling in any way feminine or masculine. This smells like a decidedly unisex fragrance. It is a little bit sweet, it is a little bit powdery, but there's a dry bitterness to this, which I think really helps counteract that powdery sweetness. And I like the juxtaposition of those notes together. And I feel like smelling this and hearing a lot of people say this is designer done right, it kind of made me, you know, while I was letting this dry down, really want to dissect this fragrance, because at a distance or at a glance, it smells like a designer fragrance. It smells like a somewhat safe, very easy to understand, powdery, semi-sweet floral. But if you sit down and you think about it, you can see all the little nuances. You can really pick out the complexity. You can see how the notes aren't commingling nicely together, but they're fighting together, and it's really creating this beautiful experience. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of miss. The people who like the niche fragrances over the designer fragrances can be a little bit more avant-garde, can be a little bit more exciting. They don't worry too much about mainstream trends, because there's not, I mean, there's a lot of money that goes behind creating niche fragrances, but there's not like billions of dollars with a big company like Estee Lauder and their, you know, little companies underneath them to create crowd pleasers so that they can make a buck. Now, that doesn't mean that those fragrances that they create aren't beautiful. There's some of the most amazing fragrances have been created from those houses under those conditions, so I'm not knocking it. But there is a lot more creativity and a lot more freedom that is allowed in the niche perfumery, and I think a lot of people really enjoy that, but a lot of people also enjoy designer as well. So what I guess what I'm saying is at a glance, this feels like a very successful, beautiful, stunning designer fragrance, but if you sit back and you really smell it, you can smell a little bit of creativity, you can smell a little bit of sparkle, you can smell a little bit of magic, and I love that. I absolutely love that. This is gorgeous. And I like the fact that at a glance it seems very same. It's like a pointillism painting. Are you guys familiar with that, where you create an entire painting with little dots? From a distance it can look like a photograph, but when you come close you can see all the chaos that went together to create this piece. And I feel like that's what this fragrance is. From a distance it looks like your run-of-the-mill everyday designer, mainstream designer, crowd-pleasing, beautiful fragrance. Absolutely stunning. But looking up close and really trying to dissect it, all of these notes, they shouldn't go together, but they do, and they're coming together in a really beautiful way. So obviously, if I'm talking about this fragrance forever, I'm absolutely enraptured with this, and I was pretty confident that I was going to like this. Iris is one of those notes that when it's done correctly, it really inspires me to want to wear nothing but iris. I love those kind of like unfamiliar, not very common floral notes and fragrances that you don't see every day. Like, you do see it every day, but whenever it's really the star of the show, it's not as, you know, it's not as common as jasmine, it's not as common as neroli or orange blossom, and it's definitely not as common as rose. When you see violet, when you see lavender, when I see like rock rose, cistus, or iris, I get really excited. So this is an absolutely stunning fragrance. I'm really excited to see how long it wears on my skin. I'm excited to see how it projects and how it develops on my skin. But so far it's stunning, and it's definitely full bottle worthy at full cost. So I would buy this full price from the department store. Absolutely gorgeous fragrance. I'm really excited to wear through this. It's upside down. So that is my little review, my long review of Prada Infusion d'Iris, and I will let you guys know next first impression what my thoughts are, my final thoughts are on that fragrance. Real quick guys, something I just wanted to quickly add before I get more into this review. This is the newer, this is a brand new sample. I've heard some talk of there being reformulations of this fragrance. I have not really tried it before 2015, so this is based on the newer reformulation and not so much maybe an older formulation. If this was reformulated or if you guys have any more information on that, do let me know in the comment section below. You guys might have noticed I used to do my first impressions video every week, and now I'm doing it like every other week, and part of that was my scheduling in regards to my my work schedule, because December and November are very busy. But I also realized that I didn't get a lot of time. I mean, I did get a lot of time and I did do enough research and wearing to develop final thoughts on these fragrances, but I also decided I wanted to give myself 2 weeks. I didn't want to rush it like I would before. I wanted to make sure that I was giving the fragrance its due justice, and there are some fragrances that I really loved and I still really love, and there's some fragrances that I was a little bit hard on, and then I went back and I tried them and I realized that wearing them maybe in a little bit cooler weather or maybe in the morning when I thought it was a nighttime fragrance actually made me like it more. It didn't change my thoughts on if I would purchase it or not. It didn't change my thoughts on its longevity or projection, but I feel like in order to be completely fair when it comes down to sampling these fragrances, I feel 2 weeks is the best bet. So I'm gonna start doing them every other week, unless I feel I don't need to, but you're probably gonna see them every other week and not every week. So not last week's, but the last fragrance I tried was from Missoni, and it was the Eau de Toilette. Now there's an Eau de Parfum, there's an Eau de Toilette, and they're a different fragrance completely. And I actually really liked this fragrance. This fragrance wasn't very inspiring. It was what you would call like a generic mainstream designer fragrance. You've definitely smelled it before. There's nothing new about it, but what I really liked about this fragrance was how it just smelled on the skin. It smelled really fresh. I love the blood orange on it. And it just seemed like a really happy, nice fragrance. So although this wasn't one of the most inspiring fragrances, it's definitely something you've smelled before. If you are looking to add something fresh and just really nice and sweet and feminine to your collection, I think that it's fantastic. And the bottle is really beautiful as well. I will say one thing about the fragrance. It doesn't have really good longevity. It only lasted on my skin about 3 hours and only projected for the first 45 minutes and became very intimate. So although it didn't last very long and didn't project very well, I feel like if you're going out to breakfast or if you're going to meet friends and you're coming back home, or if you just want to wear something really quick, like when you're running errands and you want to smell nice, this might be a great fragrance to wear, specifically because after 3 hours it's completely gone off of your skin. So if you wanted to wear something else, like say you're going out to breakfast, you're dropping your kids off at school, and then you're coming home, and then you're going to take a nap or do some errands, and then you're going to pick your kids up, and maybe you guys are going to go someplace fun, or maybe you're going to meet somebody for a date or for drinks, or just to, you know, go out and have an outing, and you want to smell a little bit different because it might be cooler in the evening or the afternoon. This is a great just grab and go fragrance to add if you wanted something in your collection that maybe is a little bit more intimate that only lasts a few hours. Some people really appreciate that. So I will say that this did kind of fail on the longevity and projection, but if those are the types of fragrances that you like, or if you're looking for something like that, it's well worth checking out. I wouldn't pay full price for this. I wouldn't pay half the price for this, only because of its longevity issues, but if you can find it really cheap, or if you can pick up a few samples to try, I think it's worth checking out, especially if you like very fresh and youthful and playful designer fragrances. It definitely fits that category beautifully. So I know this video was a little bit longer than my usual first impressions videos, which are already normally pretty long, but I really felt compelled to talk to you guys about this fragrance because it's really beautiful. Now, and I smelled it on a strip. I was getting a lot of the Mandarin and the iris. Really beautiful, but this is one of those fragrances that on my skin, it just completely transformed into something magical. I filmed this video, and the thing is whenever I film these first impressions videos, it always takes me a few hours. and I start in the morning, I spritz the fragrance, I come back in an hour, and then I film, and then I edit, and then I get everything up, and sometimes at the very end I will come back on and say, you know, this has been on my skin a lot longer, let me give you a little quick mini review. But I feel like from starting this video, spritzing on my skin to now, it's been about an hour, and I'm still getting a very powerful smell from it. My nose isn't getting, I'm not getting olfactive fatigue, which sometimes I can get after an hour depending on the fragrance. And there's something about this fragrance which is just really beautiful and soft and dry and a little bit smoky that I just think is really magical, because this is iris done absolutely perfectly. So this so far, if again, I would pay full price at a department store for this bottle. I'm really excited to wear through it because that means I get to wear it more. And yeah, so I do hope you appreciate this long video, and they're normally not this long, but I am so sorry. But anyway, I'm going to shut up now and let you guys get on with your day. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, guys, if you like my fragrance first impression videos, my fragrance reviews videos, or just my channel in general, remember to give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing videos like this. And also don't forget to subscribe because it's free and I'm free. And I put out new videos every Monday through Friday and sometimes on the weekends as well. So always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy. Have a great day, month, year, whatever. And I'll see you next time. So I wave crazily at you. Bye.